What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how Cooper Kupp is able to beat press coverage. So we're going to be talking about some releases that he uses, what is the right situation to use these releases, and then how he's able to create so much separation against DBs who are sometimes bigger, sometimes faster, and what can get you open. So I hope this video helps you guys out. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want a daily training schedule with all of the things you need to do as a wide receiver on the field for route running, press releases, and in the gym to improve your speed, your explosiveness, your strength, check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week wide receiver workout plan. We give you over 500 plus specific exercises and on-field drills to do with sets, reps, and examples of each drill and exercise mapped out for you. So check out that very first link below if interested, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So this first release here is going to be kind of like this slide release, if you will, but I mainly want to talk about, again, how Kupp is able to operate outside the frame of the DB. So anytime that we have a route, and so what they end up doing is this is like this stack formation, right? Now, sometimes you'll see it to where the point man is manned up, like this guy who's right on the point man is manned up. In this case, they switch it. So 32 or 33, I believe, is manned up on Jefferson. So this DB is manned up on Cooper Kupp. Now, obviously, they have some space between the two of us, but pre-snap, or not so much pre-snap, but pre-release, I guess, if you will, this DB is lined up inside shade. So Kupp obviously has to run this slant route. So when you guys have to run a slant against inside shade coverage, we know that we don't want to just attack him and then run, right? Because if he's inside shade, his sole purpose is to take away the inside. And I think that's something that Kupp does very well that a lot of younger wide receivers can learn from, is that he has a high IQ for what he does. What he does is not complicated, but he knows how to attack a DB and what's going to make him move. So when this DB is inside shade, trying to take away the inside, does not want you to run inside, does not want you to run the slant. So what a lot of young wide receivers will do is that they'll get some space between the guy, and then they just go try to run the slant. This DB's going to get hands, he'll be right on your hip, he might even reroute you to the inside, which is what we don't want. We want to be able to get as much separation as possible, but also maintain timing with my quarterback. So when Kupp decides to make this move and he works to the outside, you see how he's attacking outside of the DB's frame and closing the space between the two of them. This is a great example of how to use this kind of shuffle, slide release, any kind of release where you try to set up a DB to move him off the platform. You have to operate outside of his frame. To get him to jump if he's an inside leverage, you're going to have to threaten him vertically because he's going to do whatever possible, like we said, to take away the inside. So Kupp does that. He attacks outside the guy's frame. You see where he's operating. You want to think of it like you're driving. You got the far right lane, you got the middle lane, you got the far left lane. If you want this DB to move to that left lane, you actually have to go to that left lane. You actually have to step to that left lane to get him off that platform. So Kupp does a great job of that. He works outside, he gives him this fake to the outside, and he's able to go. If he were to just go lateral, if he didn't want to close the distance and he didn't want to go at this 45, if you will, and he just went this way, like so many receivers do, they take choppy steps and they go side to side behind that line of scrimmage. Even if we get this DB to jump, you still have to get to here. So if you go too flat with that release, that DB ain't going to bite. We have to make sure that we threaten him on that 45-degree angle, get outside of that frame to make him think vertical, because that is what will get him to move when he's got inside shade. Think of it like this. You have to run a post route, and it's inside shade off man. You wouldn't want to just attack his leverage if he's inside shade, because he would keep it. You'd want to go at his outside shoulder, force the hip flip, then you'd slip under. That's how we want to think of this slant, but we have to make sure we threaten this DB vertically. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Great job by Kupp working outside, giving that crossover, and then winning on that release. Fellas, if you're a young receiver, it's not necessarily about knowing all the complicated releases, knowing all the fancy drills. You got to know the right technique, but you have to know why that is the technique. You have to know the reason why behind every release and know how to apply it, or else all of this is for naught. Okay, so now, second way that Cooper Kupp is able to beat press, and you see it a lot, is that he trusts himself at the top of the route. Now, I know what you're thinking. This video is about press coverage. Why are we talking about top of the route? And it has something to do with taking what the DB gives you. So let's play this thing full speed. So Kupp does this kind of like wide step release, and he takes an inside release on a corner route. So many receiver coaches out there say that this is the worst thing you could do. Well, why is the best receiver in the league doing it? He's taking an inside release on an outside breaking route because he trusts himself at the top of the route. He doesn't rely solely on whatever kind of release he takes to get open. So let's go back to the very beginning. So what leverage, like in the last clip, that DB had inside leverage, right? What does he have in this clip? He has outside leverage. So that probably means he has some kind of help to the inside. Maybe he's expecting an outside breaking route. He's trying to funnel Cooper Kupp or squeeze him to inside towards his help. Maybe it's this guy. Maybe there's a safety over the top. There is a safety over the top, but he's trying to force him inside. So as a receiver, I need to understand that if I'm going up against a talented DB who's an outside leverage, I'm probably not going to get the outside release. So many times guys will attack this dude. They'll give a hard fake inside and they try to force the outside release. Meanwhile, this DB is going to get hands on you, squeeze you to that sideline, and you won't have any room on an outside breaking route for the quarterback to throw you open. So you have to take what he gives you. You have to give the quarterback space to throw the ball over the top and give you a chance to make a play. So Kupp, what he does is he attacks that guy. This DB does not want to give up the outside because he doesn't have any help over there. So that's what he does. Let's attack the outside. Let's threaten him outside to maybe keep him honest, get him to hesitate so I could take a free inside release. This DB's whole goal with press is to reroute and to screw up timing. And if you guys try to force the release and he gets hands and he squeezes you out here, he rerouted you and you're wasting time. To keep timing, to keep spacing, you have to take what he gives you. And that's exactly what Kupp does. Now, I talked about in the beginning, trust yourself at the top of the route. So he attacks this guy, but he's going to trust himself at the top of the route. He knows that he could run this corner with an inside release. If he works to restack, he could get over the top like he does, give a head fake inside, whatever. If this DB's running hip to hip with him, maybe he's over the top, he knows that he could throw by at his shoulder or he could throw by at his hip and slip underneath him. There are plenty of things that you guys can do at the top of the route, fellas. Top of the route is what gets you open. Press releases, taking what the DB gives you, helps you stay on time with your QB and gives the QB space to throw you open. Because at the end of the day, there ain't no defense for a perfect throw. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Kupp taking what the DB gives him, attacking outside and taking the inside release, working to restack to create space back over the top. All right, fellas, so now this last clip here, this is going to be just pretty much an example of the smoothness of his cuts and what you guys should be thinking about in terms of your footwork when maybe you're training different releases, and this is something that Cooper Kupp does a great job of. So I think we all can agree, probably one of the smoothest route runners in the game. Everything he does is very smooth. I think a lot of wide receivers should try to emulate what he does mechanically. Maybe it's not your style of play, the type of offense that he's in. That's why you can't try to be one receiver. You got to be your own receiver, but there's some key things that you can pull from every receiver's game that you can add to yours. So let's play this thing full speed. So he does this kind of like skip release and he hits this crossover, and that crossover is extremely smooth. So let's talk about it. So anytime maybe you guys are right up on the line, you have a DB in your face, maybe it's this situation where we have a couple yards and you got to close distance with him. Anytime that we're working a crossover, so an in then out, this could be an out then in, just anytime you're working that 1-2, you got to make sure that you are pushing off the arch of your feet. So when Kupp goes to make this first cut here, that's the first part of the 1-2. You see how it's a quicker cut. He's not over-exaggerating it. This second step is the step that needs to over-exaggerate. So when you guys are doing this 1-2, let's say you're doing an in then out release. So in this case, you'd be stepping left then right. Your left foot would not be an over-exaggerated step. It'd be a quick step inside of your frame. What I mean by that is you're not reaching outside your frame. Because when you're inside your frame, now I can push off of that foot. It's inside my frame, so I could push and actually throw my hip, throw the upper body, and step outside of this guy's frame to make him jump, to make him bite, and to make him step wide. So many wide receivers, when they try to throw this crossover, they don't push. They just take two choppy little steps. That ain't going to do anything against a good DB. To get this DB to bite, you need to have a quick first cut, push off of it into the second cut so you could throw your hip. You strike and you push. Strike with the arch of the foot, push off the arch of the foot, and when you land, make sure that my toes are pointed forward, my shin angle's at a 45 so I could drive out of this thing and get acceleration out of the break. That is textbook right there from Cooper Kupp. That's exactly how you'd want to play a crossover. Quick first step, and you keep that first step inside your frame so you could push and take a longer, more explosive second step, not a rushed quick 1-2. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. So great example here from Cooper Kupp on how you guys can use that crossover release to get separation and win on that route. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys. You guys help keep this channel going, so we definitely appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you'd like an 8-week wide receiver on-field and in the gym workout schedule, check out that very first link below in the description. I'll see you guys next time.